Force, PhD, black belt of the 6th degree. That rhymed. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
All good, brother. Yeah, man. Good times.
Aside from the world, the world falling apart.
The coronavirus.
Yeah, it's the end of the world. Yeah. So, you messaged me and we said yesterday we were going to talk again today. We were halfway through, or we were through some. We were talking yesterday. You're telling some stories, so figured why the fuck not have them on again? Let's keep going. So, shit, man.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
All right, so if I'm coughing and hacking, it's not the coronavirus.
It's not the coronavirus.
And if it is, just move back 6 feet from your device. You'll be good, man.
Yeah, you're good.
That's what they said, anyways. So a couple things. So let me kind of get on a little rant, man.
Yeah.
A rant man. I'm the rant man. So I talked to my wife this morning. So what a lot of people out there don't realize is my wife is Indonesian. And I've known her now over 6 years. And we actually just got married. We didn't really announce that to anybody for a lot of different reasons. But I had a terrible marriage prior to that. I mean, it was horrible. And I'm still living the nightmare. Anyways, that's another topic about the legal system and the justice system. But anyways, more importantly, so I was talking to my wife this morning, and she's still in Indonesia. We live in Bali. We have a security company there. We provide explosive detector canines, patrol dogs, narcotic dogs for like the Marriott properties and some of the local venues. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so now there's a surge of coronavirus in Indonesia, right? So this happened probably within the last 2 weeks. They thought they were corona free, and all of a sudden, boom, it hit like a hand grenade. And the curve for them, the bell curve is like, it's like an Apollo moonshot. It's straight up, man. And for a lot of reasons, because they have, first of all, they don't have the kind of hospitals we have in the West, right? I mean, they're third world. I've been into some of them, and it's like, holy hell, no air conditioning, people sleeping on the floors, just bad, really bad. And it is what it is, Now there's a few hotels. All those hotels might become hospitals, but some of the hospitals over there, they have a franchise out of Australia called Siloam. Now those are the better hospitals, right? They are. You can just tell, better doctors, better equipped, nicer, more what you would expect from Australia, right? Mm-hmm. But you're gonna pay a lot more, and most Indonesians can't even afford that. It's kind of there for the wealthy and the expats that come over there. So I ended up putting my wife in there last year with stage 4 kidney failure, and it cost us an arm and a leg. And unlike in the U.S., before you can leave the hospital, you have to pay your hospital bill. Literally, you have to pay it right there. And they don't care how big it is. There's no such thing as installment payments or we'll bill you later type thing. In fact, even her insurance that she had been paying on refused to pay flat out. We're not going to pay. What are you going to do, right? There's no real justice system or legal system here. It's just everything is just, I hate to say it, there's a lot of corruption, a lot of graft, cronyism. Anyways, so where I was going with this was I was talking this morning about the virus, and, I'm constantly giving her updates, and she's giving me updates. And the only reason she didn't come to the United States with me, I came here for a couple of reasons. One, my daughter's on spring break, and according to the custody agreement that, our legal system granted me, which, by the way, they didn't do me any favors, man. I mean, I see my kid, basically 5 days out of the month. It's just retarded for no reason, for absolutely no reason. And so anyway, but this is my year with her, so I wanted to be back and spend that time with her. And then I had 3 training events. All of them got canceled this month. And of course, now I'm sitting in my house talking to you.
Yeah.
So anyways, she didn't come with me because we run the security business over there, and the security business is kind of attached to the hip to the hotels there because of what we do and some of the local venues. And everybody's, the tourist industry just flatlined. And less than 10% occupancy in the hotels. In fact, now they have a travel ban to Indonesia, so nobody's coming there on vacation, and everything is just dying in place.
So you can't go
literally.
Home.
Well, and I can't even go home, at least for a month. The travel ban's in place for at least 30 days, starting on the 20th. And who knows, man, how that's going to work out. And maybe I expect it'll probably be longer than that. And I'll just be sitting here, on pins and needles, hoping that my family's okay over there.
Yeah.
But my wife, the reason she stayed behind is several reasons. One, somebody's got to manage the business. And right now it's, we're in the hurt locker as well because of this situation. And so she's got to be ready to either react. I'm doing a lot of the business work here, response to the hotels and et cetera. But, we have an issue that if they just can't afford us anymore and say, come and get your canines off the property, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with an army of dogs, and where am I going to keep them and feed them? It's going to be catastrophic. And actually, she's going to have to handle that now. I've got quite a few handlers. I got over 65 canine handlers, but they're all going to have to get the pink slip as well. We might keep some on board to help us manage the dogs that are left until we get that all sorted out, if it comes to that, which, that can go either way right now. I heard yesterday on the news, Trump is basically issuing possibly a third package to, he's already to the airline industry, the hotel industry, individual, citizens. So hopefully that will help the hotels and kind of, stop the hemorrhaging and at least long enough until this thing turns around and saves my ass too. I hope. Anyway, so that's one reason she didn't come back. The other reason is she's actually suffered from late stage 4 kidney failure from over-the-counter medicine. Again, this is the Indonesian medical system. They gave her drugs and did not properly or define, really kind of define what's the protocol for the drug. And she was actually taking more than she was supposed to, which put her into chronic kidney failure. I almost lost her last year. She's recovered, but her kidneys are still, a train wreck, and they'll never reverse the damage. So she's kind of vulnerable. I don't want to expose her to anything where she will have to take antibiotics, because it could kill her. So I got this issue now, and now I'm trapped on this side of the world, and she's on that side of the world. So, anyways, with all that said, she was telling me this morning, that over in Indonesia, the Indonesians are protesting. They're asking the government, hey, man, how come, can we get, get some money to help us out here, and, because the average Indonesian, all right, so get ready for this. The average Indonesian makes about $200 to $250 a month. That's their monthly income. That's average. Okay. That's the minimum. That's their average income, dude. I know that. Why? Because I pay salaries. Yeah. Okay. And that's what that's average. Actually, I pay mine above average on most of them. So that's one thing. Two, most Indonesians, they live day to day. Basically, whatever they go out and do that day for work and make money, that's what they live and eat off of, right? So it's not like, well, I got a check coming in at the end of the month, and I got this big savings account. No, absolutely not. Most of them are street vendors. They sell food on the street food, a lot of that going on over there. Different, menial jobs. It's just day to day, that's it, man. If you don't get a job today, you may not be eating today, unless you saved your money from yesterday, right? Type thing. So the government's not going to give them checks because the Indonesian government's not rich. They're not like the Americans, right? They can't afford it, but they can't quarantine them either, because how are you going to quarantine people that really live day to day, right? To feed themselves. You're not going to give them money to subsidize them, yet you can't quarantine them either, so they can't go out and work. What are you going to do, right? Yeah. And so, so that's that's where they're at with that right now. And then she told me also all the food. So the food is now 3 times the normal cost. All the price gouging has begun, right? Everybody's just, you're taking advantage of the situation, right? So, and Indonesians are not, they're, just like I said, again, they have a terrible judicial system. It's hard to do anything to prosecute people unless you're on a big company. They'll go after you like hyenas because they can get paid, but they're not going to mess around. They're not going to mess around with the guy who makes $250 a month to help you out, right? Yeah. And, so, and they're not going to go after the small little food chains that are gouging people, and charging 3 times the price. So it's just a bad situation all the way around. And luckily, she already went out and, she had she actually stockpiled quite a few noodles. And every day, she's got some on reserve, but basically her and the kids go out and they go eat that day, local economy. And by the way, in case anybody's wondering what it costs to eat there, literally I can feed a family of 5 on the Indonesian economy, basically eating Indonesian fare for about $5, literally the whole family.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So kind of puts everything in perspective a little bit, the scale, right? So she's there, I'm here, and I told her we have a house over there, and it's surrounded by an 8-foot wall. Everything's walled in over there. All the residents, they all have walls. We have about an 8-foot wall, and we got an army of Belgian Malinois on the other side of it, pool security, and I got some hard-hitting, man-eating canines.
Yeah.
And so she's pretty safe, even though there's no firearms over there, at least not the good guys. The bad guys have them, and the cops have them, but not the good guys. Their weapon of choice over there is machetes and knives, man. And so I actually had a guy take a swing at my dog with a machete, and he missed, and he paid dearly for that. But so anyways, so that's the situation, and we were talking about it. And I'm thinking, man, what's really amazing is in this country, you got people complaining that the $1,000 check that they're going to get from Trump isn't enough, or you got others on the right going, oh, that's bullshit, that's socialism, and I'm not going to accept a $1,000 check, are you in? Oh my God, man! I mean, where's such ingratitude, man? It's like you're spoiled ass Americans, man. Either way, you're a spoiled ass American, because I just painted a picture of life in Indonesia, and by the way, it's not just Indonesia. Okay, it's the Philippines, it's Thailand, it's Malaysia, all right? It's a lot of these Southeast Asian countries. Okay, they're in the same boat, and they're on the same income level, economy level. And they're looking at, what am I going to do if I get sick? There's no hospital going to take care of me. I'm on my own, right? And so I'm not going to get money from the government. You're literally on your own, and you're unarmed. You're unarmed, except for my wife. She's, like I said, we got an army of canines, man. That you're not getting on the wall without a fight. That's for sure. And we're kind of isolated too, which is kind of good and kind of bad. You know, you got to get a running start to get to my house. And but anyways, so I was really kind of thinking about that. I was like, man, and we got Americans here that are going, and even the Asians scratching their heads, what is up with the toilet paper? It's like they're just completely like, what?
Why?
I mean, you're that spoiled and that rich that you got to go get some damn shit paper because you think you're going to run out. I mean, that's your priority in life. And then the other side of it is, you look at all the gun stores. Okay, you have long lines around the building, people going to buy guns and ammunition, and then you got basically anti-2A gunners, or anti-2A, protesters out there going, hey, bud, can you sell me a gun? What's a good gun? Right? They're trying to buy them online, figuring out, hey, it actually doesn't work. You can't buy them online, right? Yeah. And so they're out there doing the same thing. And all of a sudden, everybody needs guns and ammo.
Yeah, everybody's pro-gun now, Yeah,
and so what you have here is, I mean, even Stevie Wonder can see this. You've got the predators and the prey. You got the prey going out there and freaking hoarding their toilet paper, the herd mentality. And then you got the predators out there that are they're getting their weapons and ammo because they're expecting the worst. Yeah. And now you're getting some woke liberals going, hey, I think I better get a gun too, right? Yeah. They're starting to go, okay, wait a minute,
Yeah, okay, it's getting weird, Yeah,
I just find it ironic, man. And as an American, I'm actually very embarrassed about this because and then I've got a bunch of expat friends that are in Indonesia, Australians and Brits and others, and they're constantly, gouging me and my American partner about USA and our guns, right? And what do you need guns? The same argument, right? What do you need guns? And I'm like, man, if you can't see why you need a gun today, you're just another lemming. You just might as well follow the herd right over the abyss, man, because that's where y'all are going, man. And they just don't get it, man. And so I look at that and I think about it. It's like, and some of these people are really smart people, and I'm like, you can't be that goddamn smart, man. If that's how you're thinking, where's your survival imperatives? And so I'm just kind of like, it really comes down to, at the end of the day, man, people are, the Roman Empire, man, said, okay, let's do this. They had the Senate and said, okay, we're going we're gonna entertain the dumb masses with bread and circus. As long as they're in there watching, the gladiator fights, and we're giving them free bread and entertain them, they're not going to pay attention to what the government's doing, and that was ultimately their downfall. Okay, and that's actually what we're doing now. I have been doing for a long time. Right, our bread and circus, it's free cell phones, it's welfare, it's all this other crap. It's MTV. It's identity politics, it's everything to keep people from focusing on the real issue, man, and what's really going on, and really analyzing critically the things that are important, right? And so they put all this superficial shit out there to kind of distract us, and most people just bite into it because they're lazy. They don't want to hear about it. They have the herd mentality, man. Just follow the herd, let the herd do the thinking for me, and I'll just go along and put my head down, eat some grass, and raise my head and sniff an ass, and just walk along with the herd, man. That's what I'm going to do,
Yeah.
And that is the majority of not just Americans, but the world, right? I see that in Indonesia. I see that everywhere I go, and this is why politicians and these cult leaders are so powerful and so effective, because they understand the human condition.
Yes.
They got this figured out, man. They know the psychology.
They figured
out
the puzzle.
How to manipulate,
they
manipulate
figured it
people.
out.
Exactly. And anybody that's got, will challenge them, they're quick to either, dismiss them as an outlier or, crush their nuts, man, any way they can and get you out of play. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that with everybody. But, at the end of the day, man, this virus, okay, it's got a mortality rate probably less than 1%. And, what's more dangerous than this virus is the response and reaction by the people.
Yes,
that's what's really, because what they have done.
You have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Yeah, they've killed a lot of businesses. They've put a lot of people out of jobs. They're estimating maybe 20% unemployment. They have, with their own naivety, their gullibility, their stupidity, and I'm not going to give them a pass. I'm not. You know what? If you're an adult, you have the moral responsibility to learn, okay, and to be a better you and understand the world you live in, not just for yourself but for your brothers and your sisters. And if you're not doing that, you know what? You're a liability, and you deserve everything that comes to you. That's my opinion about it.
Yeah.
But it's the end of the day, man. The damage that people have done to each other will be greater than the virus will ever have done, ever.
A million times over.
And then these same people, man, these same toilet paper hoarders and all these others out there that have helped create this situation, because they have created, they are enablers, man. At the end of the day, they're enablers. What they have done is enabled this situation to go way south super fast. And what they're going to do at the end is go, hey, what about me? Now that everything's recovering, I need some compensation. I need some, I need something back, man, and they, and then now they want you to care for them and feel sorry for them. And hey, I should, it wasn't my fault, Yeah, maybe it was your fault for being stupid and not having the right mindset from the outset, you know. And even now, I'm looking at the news and all these spring breakers, man. I mean, there's tons of spring breakers.
It's insane. They're all down in Panama City like nothing. Just fuck it.
Yeah, totally irresponsible. Totally irresponsible. That's a millennial mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no personal accountability, responsibility. They think, it's not going to happen to me. Yeah, you're right. You're probably not going to die because of your age group. But think about all the other people you're putting at risk, and you potentially, by proxy, can kill other people.
Yeah.
And you should take that responsibility. Shame on you. That's the problem with millennials.
Yeah.
You know what? And I heard somebody say one time, well, we can't blame millennials for their mindset because that's how they were raised by their parents and the generation before, the generation before. We created this freaking monster, and I argue with that, and I say no, but hell no. You know what? If you're an adult, you're over 18 years old, you graduated high school, you're old enough to vote.
Yeah.
You're old enough to make decisions.
You're an adult.
Right? And so, you know what? If you make that choice, you got no one to blame but yourself. You're ultimately responsible. And people used to hate that. I was a professor at Henley Putnam University. And I used to teach several different courses, but one of my taught was psychology of violence. And whether you're a creationist or an evolutionist, God said, at some point, usually when you're a teenager, that, you're responsible for your ways, right? You can no longer blame, you can no longer resort to childish ways, so to speak, and from an evolutionary standpoint, there's some point where when you grow old enough to breed, Okay, I think,
Yes.
and you're old enough, in our case, when you're 18 years old, okay, you're already old enough to breed long before that,
Yeah.
but at least by the time you're 18, okay, you're empowered to make rational decisions
Yes.
on life choices, not only for yourself, but for everybody else, right? You can go vote, and your vote at the age of 18, if enough of you come together, it could affect me at my age and my life and my freedom and my children's freedom, right? That's a huge responsibility. And that's and it's never considered. I guarantee you, millennials don't consider that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Most of people don't consider it. It's like bread and circus, man. What am I getting today? What's on TV? Where's my cell phone? Where's where's my likes on Facebook page? You know, what's that? Me. That's what they're thinking. And that's gonna be the downfall to our country.
And now
that's actually why we're playing on the news right now. And fortunately, I know all the Trump haters out there. You're going to, Trump. Yeah, well, you know what? He'll probably go down as the greatest president ever after this, because I guarantee you he's going to pull us out of this nosedive. We're already hit the bottom. Now he's just going to pull the yoke up, and we're going to go back up. And he's going to recover. We're going to recover, maybe bigger and better than ever before. You know what? And this whole thing about Obama trying to take credit for this economy, well, he's just going to zero that out, because when he comes back and recreates the business, company goes, yeah. Did you do this, Obama? Hell no. This is Trump's 9/11. This is far worse than whatever Obama ever, or even Bush inherited, man. Yeah. And I guarantee you that guy's going to pull out. He's already showing, man, his leadership, and I support him 1,000%. But there's going to be all the haters out there. You know what? And you can be a hater if you want. In fact, if you listen to this, just get out of here right now. I don't want, we're not even in the same camp, and because I look at it. I am kind of a tribalist, and I have very strong opinions now. I used to not really put them out there, but today I don't mind doing that, because I'm just kind of sick of being sensitive to everybody that's a snowflake and trying to understand your position. It's like, there's moral imperatives that I live by, and most people are not living by that. And so, if you're not living by my moral imperative, we're not in the same camp. So, anyways, moving on.
Oh, I was gonna say no. That was beautiful. I was gonna say no. This is Trump earning his. This is where he's gonna have to prove it. I was thinking back to I'm from New England, so God damn it, Tom Brady left the Patriots. But I was going to say, he can go and win 1 million Super Bowls, but the real Super Bowls are where he comes back from being down 28-3 and he comes back and wins.
Right.
So it's,
that's right.
Trump, you can have that skyrocketing economy for the first 3 years, first term. Now it's like, okay, you just got punched in the face. It's like, how do you react? Now you have coronavirus.
He didn't get punched in the face. He got hit in the head in the back of the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming, right?
That's what, it's like 9/11. It wasn't something where it's like you fucked up and this happened. It's like, dude, no one foresaw box cutters and the World Trade Center. Yeah, it's like
exactly.
It's so now it's like it's time to flex nuts. Grab your balls. But other thing I was gonna say is what you're saying about everyone kind of looking around and just walking off the cliff with everyone else. Curtis LeMay, famous Air Force general behind Strategic Air Command, he used to say to his kids, he'd be like, I'm not going to give you a heads up if I think nuclear war's coming. He's like, because that's operational security. Someone could get to you, and that could jeopardize our nation and our continuity of government. But he used to say to him, he's like, I expect you to look, I expect you to learn, and I expect you to listen. He would say that to his kids and wife, and he'd be like, pay attention. He said, you read, you watch the news, or I guess radio, you listen to the news, look in the newspapers, watch stores. He was like, pick up these traits. He's like, you don't need me for this. He's like, you will see when war. What was that? He was like, you will see when war is coming by just paying attention to how society is shifting. And that's what he used to say to him. What's that? What's that noise? Is there a noise in the background?
Yeah, Larry.
It's coming through loud.
My roommate crunching ice.
No, it's all right. Yeah, no, but that's what Curtis LeMay used to say. He'd say, you look, you listen, you learn, you pay attention, and he said, and when the time comes, you'll know what to do. So, because if I tell you what to do, and you're coming with me to the nuclear bunker, he's like, you're never gonna learn. When I'm gone, you're not gonna know what to do. So you look, you learn, you listen. That's fucking Secretary of the Air Force. He'd say that to his kids. He'd say, look and learn. You're not getting a heads up from me.
Yeah. And we didn't get a heads up for this, it is what it is. Now it's, it comes down to, survival, man. We can either work together, and we're not going to work together. Some of us are going to work together, and then there's always going to be the outliers out there that are going to go against the grain. Yeah. We have the enemy within. I mentioned yesterday that, in fact, I got a video of it now. The guy arrested up north that worked for the Chem Bio Lab that was basically working for Chinese agents in Wuhan and smuggling viruses over there. I hope they take that guy out and execute him, man. He needs to die a slow death, but for what he did, man. And he got a lot of money. Not only did he get a lot of money from the Chinese, he actually got a lot of money from NIH, National Institute of Health, and I think DOD and others for working on different projects and stuff like that, and experimental stuff. So, man, this guy is a total piece of shit, and you know what, man, he needs the death penalty for what he did. But that was the ultimate treason and subversion, and what he has done. I think he's probably somewhere in the middle of this whole coronavirus thing, and probably had a hand in it. He needs to be held to account. The serious account. He needs to be drugged through the mud for a long time, and then slowly freaking waterboarded to death, man. I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna send in? Think they're gonna send in some OGA guys? Think we're gonna go get them?
No, they already got him. FBI's got him, man. They already arrested him.
Because I have the bladder of a 90-year-old man with diapers. We're back. All right. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I want to do is somebody asked me one time. How did I get my PhD and my doctorate degree? And how and why? So I kind of want to explain that real quick. Some people are asking out there. All right. So I've got a master's degree in business and organizational security management. I've got a bachelor's degree in education. But I got my postgraduate degree in, it's really called naturopathy, and it's alternative medicine, natural health. And so the reason I got it was, well, one, I was very interested in longevity. How do I live longer, eat healthier, live healthier? I wanted a more healthier mindset, mind, body, and spirit type thing. And but before that happened, what actually led me down that road. So I'm gonna give you a little story. So I worked for we'll say OGA, and what ended up happening was they sent me to a course, an in-house course up actually in the New Hampshire area. And it was a 1 week long course on riding horses, packing mules, things like that. Everything you ever need to know about riding horses in combat, right? The movie 12 Strong. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, that's kind of a cool boondoggle training. I get paid and get to go ride horses and stuff, right? So I went up there, and it was pretty cool. It was a small group of us, and we learned everything you can learn about a horse. We had a veterinarian there teaching us about veterinarian stuff, feeding, maintenance, how to change the wool. Oh, yeah, you don't change the wool for horses. And it's stuff like that. And then, basically how to ride a horse, saddle horses, so forth and so on. And so it's kind of a cool time. And now I've got a very deep background in canines, right? I've been training canines for over 41 years. So I understand pack mentality. And so I was very intrigued with the horses, because now we're talking about a prey animal and herd mentality. But there's a lot of similarities, right? And so I was very intrigued with this whole thing. So we go through this course, and the first thing I noticed about these horses, we had horses ranging from the age of 6 years old to 32 years old, right? And I thought, that's interesting. 32 is like, man, he's like in his 90s, hundreds compared to human beings. And so we started packing the horses and riding them. And, one of the things I kind of noticed was the older horses were keeping up with the younger horses, no problem, through the mountains as we're riding all the time. I was like, okay. And there was really no difference other than superficial, differences like scarring, wear and tear on the outside of the whole horse because of just time. But, the muscle tone was almost the same. I mean, it was the same. I couldn't tell the difference, know. And, they seemed to have the same stamina, could go the same distance, even though the old horse was still able to sprint, And so that kind of intrigued me. I thought, man, well, how is that possible? And so I started looking closer at it, and I'm like, okay, what do they eat? I'm looking at their diet. Okay, they're drinking water, they're eating raw veggies, and they're exercising. Pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Water, veggies, and exercise.
Yeah. Good trio.
and then I asked myself, why can't a horse live so long and live really still being a high performer. How can you live so long and then just drop dead and die? Whereas we as human beings, man, we need all kinds of stuff to hold us together into our older, into our golden years, so to speak. We're strung out on all kinds of drugs and meds and other types of ancillary care to keep us going. And when I was out there with the horses, so what was interesting is we actually had 2 horses die out there. Now, the first one that died was the really old horse, right? And he was doing good, man. He had no problem. And then one day we're sitting, I'm watching him, and he just kind of looked like he wasn't doing too, because he started throwing up, and he just didn't look happy. And I was like, what's going on with old boy over there? And then he started getting really loopy, and to the point where he had to been in a lot of pain, because he would literally walk through an electrified fence, and it shocked the hell out of him, and it just didn't even faze him. He just walked right through it like whatever, and he would go down to this river and walk around the river and drink and just kind of stand there in a stupor, and we'd bring him back to the pasture, and he would just kind of, he was out of it, man. And so we thought, Jesus, and we need to address this, right? So here's a kind of a funny story. All right, so earlier in the week when we trained with the veterinarian, a couple questions came up. One of the questions came out, hey, if you had to kill one of these horses, how would you do it? And the veterinarian, he's like, you'll never have to do that, but if you had to, and so, you draw an X from the ears down to the eyes, right? And then you shoot them in the center of the X, right? And brain shot. That should get the job done. Oh, okay, cool. And then I come along with my question. It's like, well, like in canines, especially dogs like German Shepherds, they have a condition called bloat, okay? Actually, it's called torsion in horses. I didn't know that. But basically, that's where the stomach spins on his axis on both ends, and he seals up the ends, and then it becomes like a balloon, right? Starts filling with gastric acid, and then it ruptures, right? It's very painful, and if you don't fix it, it's fatal. And usually that happens after you feed a dog like a German Shepherd, and you let him run. He could, from the running motion, spin his belly around on that food, and man, and then you got a major issue. So I asked her, I said, well, when's the best time to feed a horse? Can you feed the horse before you go out on a ride, or should you wait till you after the ride and then feed him? I brought the issue. She said, they call that torsion, but no problem. You can feed the horse anytime. He'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. But if he does, he does come down with torsion, this is what to look for. And then she gave us, I don't know what they were, some type of salts in a package, right? She goes, just pour some of this in a bucket, give him the water, and he should kind of feel better about it. And I'm thinking, well, damn, if this belly spun around the axis, I don't know how that's going to, unravel itself just by giving him something to drink. I don't know if that's going to work, right? So, but that was her solution. I was like, okay. So sure enough, this happens with this horse. And we could tell he's like in really bad shape, and there's no help going to be able to come and help him where we were at up in the mountains. So we tried the old water bucket salt thing, and it was funnier than shit, because we set the bucket down in front of him, kind of put his nose down in it. Dude, he just went ballistic. I mean, ape shit, right? Bucking and kicking, and holy hell. He just lost his freaking mind. And so finally, we were like, okay, and he finally died. Just make a long story short, he just kind of died. And I thought, well, I guess if you got to go out, at that age, if you kind of went out with a little bit of, a little bit of glory, a little bit spunk to him. But it's kind of sad to see him go out. But it's his time. He was lucky to live that long and enjoy his last few moments with us, walking through the mountains. But anyway, so I was always amazed at that. And then we had a second horse that was really cool, a little 6-year-old filly. And everybody liked her, man. She was like a cool little horse. And she had this one male horse that she would follow around. Now, this male horse, he was just an asshole, right? He was the bully. And they had horseshoes on, and he would walk around. She would follow him, and he liked her, right? They were like buddies, and he harassed all the other horses, but he never harassed her. In fact, anybody that rode him, he'd basically dump you off the horse too. He was just a prick. And but he was really nice to his little girlfriend. And so on the last day of training, we're sitting there, literally doing an after-action review, high-fiving each other. We're feeling good about we spent the week riding the horses, and they're out in the paddock, in the grass, grazing. It's really scenic, And we're sitting in chairs and drinking a beer, and getting our critique. And I look out there, and they're out there munching, and I look over back, and then I look back out. And as soon as I look back out, I'm like, damn, the little filly's laying on her side. What's wrong with her? That don't look right, right? She's laying on her side. It's like, holy shit. And she was just there with the big horse, her sugar daddy. And so we go out there, and what happened was, apparently she walked up behind him and grazing, and him always being gun shy the way he was, and figured something was going up his ass. He just started shooting first, and then asking questions later. Well, he kicked her right between the running lights with his hoof and those horseshoes, and literally crushed her skull, man. Between her eyes. Shit. Just caved in her skull, man, and put her down. And she wasn't dead though. So we got there and like, holy cow, she's still alive. But it's like, man, brains are sticking out, she's still breathing, and still moving. She can't get up. She's not, she's out of her mind. And, we were just kind of like amazed, like, holy cow, man, could you imagine if you got kicked by that horse? And so now we got a dilemma. It's like, well, what are you going to do? It's like, well, there's really nothing you can do. Unless anybody here's a brain surgeon and thinks they can do some kind of field surgery on this horse. I don't think so, right? So now we're down to, okay, well, we're going to have to kill this horse, right? And so I'll never forget. So I asked this one guy, anybody got a gun? He goes, yeah, I got 2 guns in my trunk of my car. All right, so go up there and get the guns. And so he said, I'll go get him. He'll go run up there. Now he's got a 9mm and he's got a a 9mm and a 22. A 9mm and 22, right? He comes back with just the 22. I go, dude, seriously? You got a 9mm, you brought the 22 back? Yeah, it'll do the job. Why don't you just make sure you do the job and get the 9mm, right? It's like, holy shit, right? So he's like all excited and stuff, and he's drawing X's across the horse's head. Now the horse actually started running on his side in a full gallop. I've never seen nothing like that. He wasn't on his feet running. He was on his side in a full sprint. Just as fast as your horse could possibly run. It's like, where the fuck is he going on his side, right? Well, he ain't going nowhere. Yeah. And, it was just reflexes at that point. And then as, a few minutes went by, 5 minutes went by, he started slowing down into this like gallop, and I just felt really bad for him.
Kind of kill it,
Once he kind of slowed it down, I was like, okay, get this thing done.
Yeah.
So my buddy draws the X and dummy, but he's not a shooter. He wasn't a shooter. He was a combo guy. But so he goes over there and he's all nervous. He's lining the barrel up, and then he pulls the trigger and he basically yokes the trigger and dips the barrel and misses the X and shoots the horse in the sinuses, right? And so now the sinuses blow up and there's shit flying everywhere, right? It's like, even worse, right? And the horse kind of stunned for a second. And he's like, yeah, I think that did it. And I go, no, that didn't do it.
Thing's still alive.
Right to fall the chest. You do it again. He goes, no. I said, do it again. We went back and forth, and finally he shot him again and got it over with. But so we lost 2 horses that day. And the owner of the horses, when he found out, he lost his shit. It's like, what are you guys doing with my horse? He just didn't understand what really happened, and we're just like.
Leaves you guys alone for a week, comes back, 2 horses are dead. It's just like, what the fuck?
What are you gonna tell the guy, man?
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of got into it. So it really interests me, and that's how I started pursuing my doctorate. Now, I'll be honest with you, man. Look, my doctorate is actually I do use it now for coaching. I learned a lot. It took me a couple of years to get it. Most doctoral programs are off campus. You do self-study type things. And so it took me a couple of years, and then I got what I got. It's some people call it, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like, it's not a real doctorate. I don't give a shit if it is or not. It's postgraduate degree. I did all the work.
Dale, your microphone's scrunched up.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, what part did I leave off on?
Oh no, I could hear it. It was just a little muffled. Keep going. You're good.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, it is what it is, and that's what kind of got me interested in it, and it was really for my own personal knowledge on how to be, how to live healthier and increase my longevity, my performance. So that's become a big part of my performance coaching, is the physical fitness side of it, the nutritional side of it, the diet side of it, the mental side of it. And you're laughing, man.
No, I'm not.
Well, I got something on my face.
Well, no, I was nodding. I wasn't laughing. Fuck you, Dale. I was nodding. Don't put that on me. Fuck you, Dale. I was nodding. No. You were saying.
Oh, nodding. Oh, am I that excited?
No, I was nodding. Dale, God damn it! I will end this podcast. I will come down there and kick your ass, or at least try.
Well, bring your friends. You're gonna need them.
Yeah. Hey, me and Joe will come down. Yeah, you can beat his brother. But no, yeah.
So, where I was going with that was that's how I got my doctorate, why I got it.
Yeah.
And now it turns out it's actually one of the degrees I actually use the most, and it has the greatest impact on people's lives and on my life. And actually, I think it's the reason that, at the age of, I'm literally almost 57 years old, and it's the reason I'm still pretty spry, pretty young, pretty, lucid, and still, functional. And so, I think it's because having a knowledge of alternative medicine and natural health.
What all did you learn?
Basically,
if you want to get into that.
It's really it was counseling. It was learning how to counsel people to live a better life, healthier life, understand diet, nutrition, understand not only that, what affects your way of thinking. For example, the metaphysical world. How does that come to play, right? Metaphysics, kinetic motion theory, all these other things that some people would roll their eyes. They go, some kind of hocus pocus stuff. But Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, these other, what is medicine? I mean, when we talk about medicine in the United States, we talk about allopathic medicine. And when we talk about conventional medicine, everybody wants to relate conventional medicine as allopathic medicine, but really conventional medicine is herbs and vitamins. It's pre-1900 stuff, right?
That's actually conventional all of our pharmaceuticals, we put them in orange bottles and put them in little caps, and we say this is modern medicine. It's either synthetic duplications of compounds that are found in fucking tree bark or flowers, or it is the ground up flour. That's all it is. We put it in an orange bottle, and a guy in a white coat gives it to us, and we call it modern. But that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. And just derivatives from natural substances. They compound them. They put an admixture in there, so it's always different. They put a patent on it, and they sell for $1 bazillion. And
get that money,
I'm not knocking allopathic medicine. Has its place, but I'm always first to try to go to the conventional route and try to heal myself naturally rather than dropping a hand grenade in my system. That to address one thing, but there's a lot of collateral damage as a result as well.
Sure.
And so, but anyways, so going on, so that's kind of how I got started, and then so moving on with that, my little story. What happened was, right after that, I went to Afghanistan with my newfound knowledge about horses, and when I got over there, the camp that I was stationed at, we had 9 horses. I believe we had about 12 mules, a couple donkeys, right? And we would actually use the mules and the donkeys to carry ammunition and supplies up the hills to some of the OPs, right? And we also used the horses for patrolling and things like that. And over in Afghanistan, they don't believe in cutting the nuts off their horses. They like stallions. It's some kind of bravado thing, right? It's like, you can't be riding a neutered male horse because that's kind of,
you gotta have an alpha.
So everybody rides a stallion. Well, when you have a stallion that's got his balls still, they're not very user friendly, and and they can be very aggressive. So I get over there and I'm thinking, I know what I'm doing now. I've been trained, man, and I'm in full cowboy mode. So I thought, well, hell, I'm just going to go down to the stables and tell my boys, hey, I want to ride a horse, right? And so the guy down there managing the corral, he's like, okay, and he goes and brings me. Actually, they let me pick the horse I want. I kind of walked around. I saw this really cool black stallion, and I said, give me this black stallion. I'll take that one right there. And we saddled them up. And their saddles over there, by the way, are not leather saddles. They are wooden saddles. That's what they ride over there, right? They're really hard ass wooden saddles, right? And so he puts the old wooden saddle on there, puts the steering mechanism on, i.e. the reins, and cinches everything down. And he goes, there you go, brother. And I said, cool. So I got on the horse, and he was actually really nice. We had a nice little conversation before we went out the corral, and everything was going really good, man. I was feeling really good. I was like, yeah, man, all my training is paying off. Look, this big black stallion, he's being obedient. We go out and we're riding down the road just a little bit. And I look back, and that stable hand decided he wanted to go for a ride with me. So he loads up one of these stallions, and he comes out. Well, as soon as he did that, it was game on, man.
Fuck.
These two horses were like, oh no, not no, but hell no. And as soon as he rode up, they wanted to fight, right? They wanted to start fighting. Now, he was carrying a baton, right? That's they carry these sticks over there, right?
Yeah.
I call them obedience sticks. I didn't have one of those. He had it, but I didn't have it, right? And I actually didn't need it until he showed up. And then as soon as that happened, both horses started racing, right? I mean, and I was like, okay, I'm hitting the brakes. I'm doing everything I was trained to do, and nothing's happening, man. This thing is like on, cruise control, and it takes off, man. It's running across the desert. He stops his horse, right? He's got the obedience stick to control it.
Yeah.
And so, his horse complied, but mine was like not having it, man. So he runs up this hill, up the OP quite a ways, and I run through the OP, right, the base camp. We got all the Afghans up there with machine guns, overwatch positions, and they got all the laundry hanging out, right, on the clothesline. And I'm coming through with my hair on fire, right? And I can't stop this horse. And there's Afghans running for their life. Like, holy shit, there's a white guy coming in here on a black horse. And I'm running through the laundry lines and stuff, clothes all over me and stuff,
Behold, the pale horse.
Yeah, and we finally hit the end of the OP, and the horse realized he got nowhere else to go, so he throws a U-turn and hits the gas again and goes flying back out the OP, right? And I'm wanting to get off, but we're just moving way too fast, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going for the ride. So we go down this hill. And over there, it's just rocks everywhere, big ass rocks everywhere. Yeah. And he's just running full tilt down the hill. I know where he's going. He's going back to the stable, but he's moving like at full speed. And I'm hanging on for dear life. Right? I had a week's worth of training on horses, but I am by no way am I. I certainly can't ride a racehorse.
Yeah.
And I'm hanging on for dear life. I'm reining him in, man. I'm actually, when. Like sometimes you have a horse a little out of control, you just grab the reins on one side, you pull his head all the way back to your knee,
sure.
And usually that will kind of like stop him, right?
Sure.
No, he wasn't having none of that, right? I'm reining him in, nothing's happening. I'm reining him back in the saddle. I'm even saying, hey, whoa, buddy.
Yeah.
Whoa, buddy.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy.
So finally I just started punching him in the neck, stop. And my foot started slipping out of one of the one of the stirrups, and because just a spoon and
shit's going crazy.
Holy shit! And my foot comes out of the stirrup, and I fall off the horse. Right, and I'm on the other side, on the right side of the horse, being dragged by my right leg over these rocks down this mountain, and I'm shitting the brake now.
Yeah.
My mom didn't raise a fool, right?
Yeah.
And so before I went out there, I had my holster on with a 9mm Glock.
Of course.
Just in case things go south, right? I'm ready for it, my tranquilizer.
Yeah.
And so, sure enough, man, as soon as I hit the ground, I couldn't get my foot out of that daggone stirrup. I'm thinking, man, he's going to kill me running me down this hill with these rocks, And as I'm sliding, I'm like, Jesus. So, instinctively, I go for the draw, man. 9mm out, boom, boom, first shot over the head, miss, second shot. Start to pull the trigger. My leg came out of the stirrup, and I'm going down the hill, so I didn't have to pop him. And he just keeps on running, right? He makes it back to the stables, and I'm laying there covered in dust and dirt and stuff, and bleeding a little bit. I'm like, holy hell, man! And I put the weapon back in, and then the stable hand comes up on his horse. I got a white one, and he's like riding up to it, and he's kind of like giggling a little bit, and he's like, here, take my horse. You can ride my horse. And I'm like, what? I said, no way. I said, you know what? I said, I'm done, man. I said, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
He goes, no, ride the horse. Right? He's insisting I ride the horse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so part of me was like, I got to save face, right? It's like, it's just that horse, right?
Yeah.
I can do this. So I say, okay, give me the horse, right?
Yeah.
And so I get on the horse and I tell him, I said, give me that tranquilizer, the thing you failed to issue me earlier, that stick. I want one of those.
Give me the fucking obedience stick.
And so, dude, I get on the horse. As soon as I get on the horse, I think the horse just knew I didn't know what I was doing. Maybe I still, he realized I was really disheveled or whatever. But as soon as I get on, man, we just started doing like a 360 rotation as fast as we can. Go, and there I go again. Whoa! I hit the ground, and that horse is gone too. I go, you know what? We're done. We're done.
Fuck horses. I'm done. I'll walk. Give me a Humvee.
Yeah, and I'm like, don't you ever tell anybody what just happened here. So that was my Afghan cowboy story. And I tell you what, I got a whole new respect for the power of a horse, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it was a scary day, but thankfully all my friends didn't see me because I'd probably still be hearing about it today. So I went ahead and wrote in my book American Badass for everybody to enjoy.
Well, I was gonna say, no, dude, that's what I love about your book, man. It's not. We talked about this in the first episodes. It's not, it's not, I'm the badass, I'm the killer, I'm the. There's definitely some like badass, going in on the choppers with the night vision goggles and there's definitely some badass stories. But then there's also like you just said, there's just completely owning just like, man, I fucked up, You're just like, I'm looking at my peers, I'm getting dragged along by my foot, shooting rounds over their head, and they're just like, who the fuck is this white guy? It's just like, hey, Afghan cowboy, and but I think that's what makes your story so much better, is it's people like me can relate to it, because like we all every guy loves we love the warrior story, the night vision goggles, the silent sniper rifle, and those are awesome.
There I was,
there are
pins, taking dudes out with my K-bar knife, I'm the baddest dude out there. Like, you know what?
But that's
what you tell everybody. But
and that's entertaining, and it's definitely great. But the thing is like, I can relate to it more when then the next story is like, and then I'm getting dragged around by a horse, and it's like, that's what makes it more relatable, because all of a sudden it's you, instead of being in control and being Delta Force operator, all of a sudden you're like, I'm getting dragged along 1 foot shooting at this fucking horse. I don't have the obedience stick. Everyone's laughing at me, and I'm going, don't tell anyone. See, someone like me or my friends, we can relate that and go, okay, I know what it feels like to be a dumbass. That's my daily life. I'm like, okay. So, dude, it brings you back down to earth, because, you're right. All the other stories, there I was on top of Mount Everest, just got off the phone with the president. Like, that's cool, but they're a dime a dozen. You never hear a Navy SEAL or a Delta Force guy being like, yeah, man, I got my ass handed to me by a horse with fucking balls the size of baseballs, That's what makes it beautiful, man. But that's also why you got to narrate your goddamn book and put it on Audible, Dale, because you can't get that. Reading it's great. You gotta do it. What better time to do it than now, man? Coronavirus, you're stuck at home. Go grab a microphone. Just go grab a microphone and just fucking read it. Just get it down, dude.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Maybe I can record it and then. I think I might be able to do something like that. Record it and then.
You got all the time in the world.
Put it out like that. Yeah, that'd be easy.
Well, just record it now, and then once once the sky stops falling, you could actually have someone go in and just dice it up into chapters. But why not?
Yeah. So now I got to carve out some more hours a day. There are no more hours, so I'm gonna have to add a few more hours. So 24, I'm gonna have to work on 30-hour days.
Yeah, but dude, what better time to do it than now, though? I mean, everything is shut. The world is shut down.
No, actually, there's a lot going on. I'm doing a lot. So I'm working on my my business with Joe Tedai, and we're developing that every day, working on it, developing it, along with my daughter, my oldest daughter. So that's in process, and there's other stuff I'm working on as well. Plus, I'm working out every day.
Yeah.
Me and my roommate in here with our rubber bungee bands and whatever things we got to work out with, doing pull-ups and push-ups and stuff.
Hey, man, I've been doing push-ups in the driveway.
I might as well take advantage of it. I'm spending a lot of time with my daughter here, and I'm just kind of chilling out right now. Yeah. But I'm ready for this thing to end sooner than later, so that I get back to Bali to I also have kids over there. They're not they're not my biological kids, but for all intents and purposes, they really are my kids. They think I'm their father anyways. Yeah. So I have a blended family over there with my wife, and I got family all over the place, but it is what it is, man. So it's the life I have, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy doing everything I'm doing, and I'm always looking for ways to develop business. People, I always say, when one door closes, another one opens, and I look at this as another opportunity, and I've actually put that out on social media today. It's like, look, you know what, stop wasting your time, playing games, and whatever, do something productive, and take this time to educate yourself, get on the internet and learn stuff, man. Whatever it is you think you might be interested in, but try to develop yourself personally and professionally, so that when you come out of the other end of the shitstorm, you're ready to go and engage something, and move forward. Don't waste the time, man, because you're only going to get so much of it. And for some, you're only maybe going to get a few more hours. Some of you may get a few more years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember listening in your, I believe it was the interview where I discovered you was from an interview you did 5 or 6 years ago. And yeah, by the way, you look exactly the same. I don't know how the fuck you haven't aged. You look exactly the same. So touche. Yeah.
Put it on.
Yeah. But I remember you said you were like, you remember playing video games, and then you'd look at the clock and it's 4 a.m. and you're like, fuck, where did all that time go?
Exactly.
So when I heard that, I decided to try something new. So like, because I love video games, but I don't play like games. I like to just find one. I like to find something where there is no game. You can just do like Grand Theft Auto, just get in a car and drive around. For me, that's how I decompress at the end of the day. But what I started doing after listening to an interview with you talking about it's just wasted time. You're like, find something to better yourself. That's why I like audiobooks so much. Is what I do now is I just mute the TV. And so I'm running around shooting Nazis, whatever. But I'm listening to an audiobook on, the history of nuclear power, or the history of coal power in England, or the development of the NSA in the 70s and 80s, or the post 9/11 NSA, or the history of military operations on the space shuttle. Like, so that's what I do now. So now when I have my cake and eat it too. I play video games, but I just mute it. And I fucking learn. But that's why you got to put your book on Audible, man. Is so all these jackasses like me can learn. Because
I'll do that. I've been told that before. It's just that, man. My days are like literally just, so full.
No, I believe you.
I'm always working. I'm always doing business development stuff. Got a lot of things I'm always engaged in.
Yeah.
And
but the thing is you do it one time. And then it goes up on Audible, and then there's your revenue stream. You don't have to do it again. Yeah. It's not like you got to read it every time someone wants to hear it. Read it one time. Yeah. And, I don't know who you'd have to contact. I don't know, I can help you look that shit up. But, do it one time. So you could sit down and record your book in one day. You could do that. Yeah, I could. And then that's one day of work. Okay, that's one day that you have to kind of hustle a bunch of other shit. But then it goes up on Audible, and bam, there's your revenue stream. Yeah. You never have to touch it again. Come on, Dale. Right. Come on, Dale. No. You're the king of revenue streams. You got to practice what you preach.
No, you're right, man. And again, I'm not making excuses, but everything you got to prioritize. Your work.
Yeah.
And so, for me, it's you have no idea the level of work that I'm involved in. I got so many irons in the fire, but and I have to weigh everything out. I actually have to look at it like, okay, what's the cost benefit analysis? If I how much return will I get in if I put effort in this? How much will I get back out of it, right?
Sure.
And so if the payoff's not as high as it is on this, then I'm going to focus on this for now, and then when I have free time, I can develop that. So it's always I'm always strategizing and thinking in those kind of ways.
Absolutely.
With the end state being, I need to be able to position myself so that at least financially I'm in a better place, and I'm always getting into a better place, and also I have to time management. I have to look at I got to manage my priorities, and I got to be able to dedicate time to kids, family, personal development, professional development. Then I got to be able to focus on, business activities. Look, I'm writing 5 books right now.
Yeah.
And so, I was writing 5 books. I had to hit the brakes for a minute, but I'm just dying to get back into it and start writing. But it's like I just cannot find the time. Like tonight, I've got coaching calls tonight, like late tonight. And because I've got to account for different time zones, and I'm sure when I'm done after like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm like, do I really want to write, or do I want to get some port wine and drink a little bit and watch some TV and go to sleep?
Get a little relaxed. No, I get you. You definitely got to find it. You definitely got to weigh it. Is it worth me putting time into it and recording it? So for what it's worth, I can tell you of the 58 episodes I've done, the episodes with you, the now 2 episodes with you that are uploaded, those are the 2 most watched videos in terms of views and total watch time. So but the thing is, there's a point of me saying that, not just to flatter your ego, but that people are interested.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And, so it is worth it. It is worth it.
Yeah, No, I've gotten that quite a bit. I've heard from others, like SoftRep. I had some of the highest ratings on SoftRep.
Yeah.
I did several with them, and look, I'm not bragging either. I think the differentiator is what's the difference? Okay, I got stories, and I just like to tell them. I just like to speak from the heart, man.
Yeah.
Shoot from the hip, and just like I do here,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Just tell the story,
exactly.
man. And so it seems to work for me. So everything I do in life is like that. Even the books when I wrote it. If you read my book, American Badass, once you start reading, you go, man, that sounds just like Comstock speaking.
It does. So, it does. It feels it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't feel like this meticulously. Like I gotta craft this story. No, it feels like you're just sitting down, fucking talking with you. But that's why I love it. That's why I love it.
Wait till you read the other books I'm getting ready to crank out, man. I got some great stories. I probably kind of in the subsequent next podcast probably talk about a little bit about some of these other things I've been doing post my military career. They're actually more exciting, I think, than what I did in the military, and every bit as dangerous and
Ops.
It's like some Jason Bourne shit, man. It's like how do I get caught up in some of this stuff? And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. It's like I just find myself in this weird place doing some weird shit, not intending to do anything. It's just I'm there, like now I'm dealing with it, You
just kind of have that moment where you look around and you're like, how did my life lead me to right here?
Yeah, no, it's actually very interesting, but it's exciting, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories I have are really, it's exciting. It's like, wow. I mean, this is stuff that this is movie material. In fact, that's why I have to be careful what I put out.
That's why you gotta, that's why you gotta put it on Audible, man, because like I said, people are interested in your stories. The numbers do not lie. The YouTube analytics do not lie. People want to hear it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Yes. So like, I'm amped. Like, yeah, well, obviously, you gotta make sure there's no classified shit or anything, but yeah. I mean, dude, Dale, you've got stories at the ass.
Yeah, there's nothing classified. Everything I'm telling, and I'm pretty discreet because I have to protect certain
names, places,
people's, reputations, personalities, names, things like that. Even in the civilians, I've signed non-disclosure agreements. I've had involved myself with people that have done some really stupid, embarrassing things and needed me to pull them out of the shit, and like, please don't tell nobody, don't give them my name, but anyways, those are we'll talk about those later on.
Absolutely.
So today I just want to kind of leave you with all that, and anybody that's paying attention out there, if you're interested, I've got my website, my Facebook page, and then I've got another Facebook page we just stood up, me and Joe Tedai, called Tier 1 Performance Coaching. If you're interested in any kind of performance coaching, survival stuff, we've got an entire curriculum for that. Really cool stuff. We focus on what I call psychosomal engineering. And it's the science behind success and a science behind performance, and so you go out there and you can hire, if you got $1 million, you can hire Tony Robbins to tell you how to be Superman, but you'll never be Superman because he doesn't know how to be Superman either. He just got lucky in one area. We'll teach you how to be, we'll teach you how to be the best you. You might not be Superman, but you'll be the best you can be, and everything you do. So anyways, look me up, Tier 1.
Yeah, send me the links. I'll put them all. I'll put them in the top comment. I'll link them in the bottom. I'll put everything out there. It's just so it's right there, so people don't have to look it up. It's just right there.
Okay, I'll send you links here in a minute.
Yep.
And come on, man. I'm not super expensive, and me and Joe, we are actually very reasonable. We have to look at our demographics, and we want to give a fair price for what we do, and actually you'll find it's more than fair. And I've never had a complaint. I have literally coached millionaires, top 1% income earners, to guys that are unemployed, men, women, you name it. I've, construction workers to, photographers. I mean, a whole range of, people out there, and everybody has something to learn, and bankers, teaching people how to build business, et cetera, et cetera. So, I've got the skill set, I've got the experience to do that, and I like teaching, like sharing it with people. So, get on the program, man. Be the better you. I'm here to help you self-actualize.
we gotta get you a headpiece so you can be like Tony Robbins. Yeah,
I got one. It's kind of goofy.
Fuck that.
It's like a pilot in an airplane.
Yeah. Tony Robbins watches Dale Comstock videos.
Yeah,
you can quote that.
That's right. They in bed dreaming about me at night.
Exactly.
What would it have been like to be a Delta before Comstock?
He'll never know. Dale Comstock. I was gonna say I'll let you go. No, but Do you gotta go?
All right, man.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't want to cut you off. Yeah.
That was like a lag time.
Oh, okay. I was like, why is Dale just staring at me, smuling? Like,
I'm like, why is his lips moving like in a kung fu movie, but nothing's coming out?
Hachitata! Wuhan virus! Wuhan COVID-19! That's gonna get me banned.
You racist son of a bitch.
Whatever. Fuck. That's what we do when they're like, that's racist to say it's called the Chinese virus. I'm like, no one's ever
Oh my God,
no one's ever
really?
said shit about the West Nile virus. When's the last time you heard someone get a?
True. You know, we go on all day about this crap.
Exactly.
This is a liberal talking point.
Yeah.
These idiots, man. You know what? And I like when they call me a racist, dude. That's the funniest shit. I've had people call me racist on Facebook, don't even know me. I go, really, dude? Let me kind of enlighten you, man. And my ex-wife was black. I got 2 kids that are mixed race. 3 kids actually are mixed race black.
Indonesian,
one of my ex-wives was Hispanic, Chinese, and my current wife's Indonesian.
Yeah.
You know, I can go on all day long about that crap, you know. And so,
you're racist against white girls. You're racist against white girls.
I'm just a realist, man. I'm just pragmatic, man. You know, it's like I'm going to call it like I see it.
Yeah.
You may not like it, and you might want to, you know, assign it to a skin tone.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with skin tone, man. Some of my best friends are black. You know, my best friends. Actually, my 2 best friends are, one is black and one is Hispanic. Both of them are from Sacramento, California. Went to high school together, joined the army together, and to this day we're still best friends. And always have been, always will be. You know. So when you call me a racist, that's always a cool. You know, that's always the fallback when they can't, you know, give a.
Got nothing else to say.
Level a logical argument about something. It's like,
just a racist. Fuck it. It's like,
we just throw the racist hand and get over with.
It's like pocket sand. It's racist. Just run away. Yeah. I got nothing else on them. Racist. Yeah. All right, Dale. Hey, Godspeed, and let's definitely set up the next one. I got guests for the next 3 days, but let's set one up.
Awesome.
Let's set one up. All right, brother.
Okay.
All right, man.
We'll
Take care.
Touch.
Peace.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.